Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Purple Raider Sitdown here on 91.1 WRMU. We are just moments away from quarterfinal action at Mount Union Stadium as the Purple Raiders are going to get set to take on the Muhlenberg Mules. But beforehand, we've got an interview with the members of the offensive line, this time with Johnny Todd, John Bisono, and Joey Presutti. Fellas, how you doing today?
Good.
Not too bad. Excited to be here.
Alrighty, guys. Let's look at the first question here for you guys. Starting, all the way up to the quarterfinal for you guys. Only 12 sacks allowed on that offensive front. 473 total yards on offense on an average that ranks 13th in the nation. For you guys on the line, there are not many mistakes. Your thoughts so far on the 2018 season on that line? What has worked so well? Let's start with Johnny Todd.
Pretty much we prepare every week for their scheme. Each scheme is taken into preparation through film. The coaches do a great job preparing us on what stunts they'll do, what the linebackers will do, how the defense is going to set up. And overall, we have certain schemes that we'll do to protect against that, and we practice that like it's night and day.
Joey?
I think we get a really good look from our scout team. You know, like they come to work every day and give us a good look, and they're really why we're able to prepare so good.
John?
I'm going to piggyback off of these two fellas and say that we just prepare every week. Scout team comes together, starters come together. We all work together as one, as a unit, and that's what helps us each week to week.
So, guys, taking you back to the opening round of the playoffs against Denison, Fulford sat out nursing the ankle injury. Jay Keeney comes in, sophomore quarterback, first collegiate start. Your thoughts on Keeney's performance, and was there anything that the line had to switch up with a new QB, or was there no change? Joey, starting with you.
I really think no matter who's in the game, protect them. Mm-hmm. You know, no matter it's first string, second string, third string, fourth string, whoever's in, he doesn't get touched. You know, Keeney stepped in, next man up, did his job. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what you're supposed to do.
John, your thoughts?
Everybody buys in. Everybody works hard in practice. Everybody does what we have to do. We all see the same looks from week to week. We knew he was going to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. We knew he was going to be successful.
And Johnny?
I believe that everyone here has that winning mentality. I don't care who's in the game. Everyone protects each other. Everyone does their job, and whoever steps in will produce. And I believe that is what we teach here at Mount Union.
So coming into this season, there were some question in the offensive line. Only one returning starter, that being Brendan Klaus. You guys are a part of the starting line right now. What were some of the main focuses individually coming into this season and trying to earn a starting job? Joey, starting with you on that one.
Being behind Cole Parrish last year, that kind of you really learn off the people in front of you. You know, like he was All-American, you know, great player, I think 3-year starter. So you try to take things from his game and add to yours. And whenever you get that chance to go up and play, you just got to execute your own plan. And then once you do that, you got to trust that the other 4 guys they're going to do their job too. So if we all get all 5 of us working as one, then we'll win every time.
John, for you.
Sudi might have a little bit of a joke about this, but it's knowing the scheme, knowing what you have to do, and buying in 100%. That was my main focus coming up coming to Mount Union. That was my main focus, learning and buying in with the guys and everything.
And Johnny, your main focus?
Well, also as a freshman, you come in and you notice there's a ton of guys here. What's it going to take for me to start? And you just have to buy into the process of the coaches, and they teach the scheme. And you have to buy into it. That's the biggest thing. You learn how to play offensive line here. And having seen guys in front of me, it's like Mike Irizarry and Cole Parrish played, and Brendan Klaus, who's my age. They all played guard at one point. They all have great technique, and that's the biggest thing that we teach here.
So, Joey, bringing you back, to bring the folks back here to Game 9 of the season, Tavistica goes down with a knee injury against Muskingum. You come in and had to continue the success at center, holding down the line. Talk about that opportunity for you to come in and prove yourself at that center spot.
It sucks that that happened to Tavis, but every week I prepare and practice like I'm gonna play. You know, if I'm a backup or starter, I'm thinking I'm playing every week. You know, so with that mentality, no matter what happens, whenever my name is called, I'm always ready to go.
And Johnny, looking at you, you hold down the guard position. Talk about your technique and how important communication is amongst the line.
For communication, that's the biggest key, I feel, at the guard position. Knowing what to do with the tackle next to you and the center. The center usually makes most of the calls, and that reflects on what you should do for that play. And communicating with your tackle also helps with your technique. And the plays that we do are structured to how the defense is set. And I believe that the technique is the biggest thing when playing guard.
And, John, looking at your season, you were not on the starting line to begin the season. It took you a little bit just to keep on grinding. But, yeah, you continue to work on your game. You got the starting job now. Talk about the season for you. And when the season is all said and done, what are some of the takeaways that you can come with?
I'm going to start with my brothers on the offensive line. I mean, we all grinded. We're all getting together, becoming more close. That's one thing I'm going to take away from this season. But overall, I'm going to take away the technique. This is one of the best coaching staffs I've ever had. Technique is priority here. If you don't have the technique, you're not going to be successful on the field. That would be the second thing I take away from at the end of the season. But as far as just playing, just the memories and the people that I'm playing with are always going to be part of my family, you know.
Johnny, with talking about the offensive lineman, talking with an O-lineman alumnus, Chris Golian. Of course, I get a lot of my information from him on the offensive line. He mentioned your name as being nickname being Junkyard, so also known as Junk. How did you acquire that nickname?
That nickname started my freshman year. Our first game on the JV schedule, we faced John Carroll away, and I was wearing just a white T-shirt, sort of battered up, a plain white tee, and shaggy hair looking. And I come in down to the locker room, and we're just sitting there, just waiting to prepare for the game. And our assistant O-line coach at the time, Charlie Avila, who is now the D-line coach, he goes, "Johnny, it looks like you could work at a junkyard." And everyone just started laughing. I mean, it was hysterical. I was even laughing too. And after that, it just stuck. And the time it really did stick is when VK brought everyone up together at the end of practice, and he said my name. He goes, "Johnny Junkyard Todd," and everyone just started roaring. And now it's stuck, and it shortened down the junk. But I appreciate the nickname. Everyone calls me it, and I love it.
Guys, let's look at your running back, Josh Petrocelli. Now 7 games with 100-plus yards on the ground. Joey, we'll start with you on this question. Discuss blocking for a back like Petro, and how much pride do you guys take in those successful run days?
I mean, the guy is just truly a stud, whenever, we're blocking up a play and he bursts to the line and takes it to the house for 50, 60, 70 yards. I mean, of course, that's a good feeling, and then go down, celebrate with them, and then try to do it again the next drive.
John, for you.
That's a big dog right there. There's no better feeling than holding your guy in your gap or whatever, blocking him out, and then watching Petro just take off. There's no better feeling than that, especially when he lowers his shoulder or he's exciting to watch. I mean, we're on the field, but at the same time, if he hurdles somebody, it just gives you an adrenaline rush.
Johnny, for you.
Josh Petrocelli is a great running back. He runs hard. I love it. That's probably any O-lineman's dream. He hits the hole hard and scores touchdowns for you, and you got to cheer with him after the game. I mean, one of the guys on the team that you love to have every time.
Josh Petrocelli having a great sophomore season, continuing that, hopefully continuing out throughout the playoffs here in the NCAA Division III playoffs. Guys, as usual on Purple Raider Sit Down, I like to find out where the players came from, how you guys found Mount Union. We'll start with Joey on this one. Obviously, your older brother Anthony played here at the University of Mount Union. But talk about your road here to Mount Union, how you got here from Texas.
Just having my brother come here and knowing the tradition here and how good we were, it's kind of just like a no-brainer. Come here, win national championships. That's what we want to do. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I took other schools into consideration because I had other schools talking to me, but I knew in the back of my mind I was always coming here.
John, for you, interesting road. So you played at Tiff and you played at Fairmont State. You ultimately found your way here at the University of Mount Union. Talk about your journey getting here and playing for the Purple Raiders.
I transferred from Fairmont State. I contacted Coach Miller. I knew I was always locked into Mount Union. I don't even know. Even in high school, I would always look at Mount Union scores and always seen that they were blowing people out. And I just knew that they were doing something right here. And when it came for my time to be up at Fairmont, I reached out to Coach Miller. I contacted him, told him I was interested in coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And it really wasn't a recruiting process like on Mount Union side of the ball. I kind of seeked Mount Union. I knew they were doing things right, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I came here and I bought in.
And Johnny, looking at you, more of a local guy to the area, from the Canton area, played at Glen Oak. What led you to the University of Mount Union?
Personally, it was Coach Dart. He was my recruiter at the time. I was getting looked at other schools, Division III schools, and I was looking at my options. Denison, where my brother went to college. I definitely tried to look there, which is ironic because we just play them the past couple weeks. And I noticed it was close to home, which is sort of odd for most kids, like saying, "Oh, I'll go to college really close" or whatever. And I thought it was the perfect fit. I loved it. I loved when I came here. I saw the campus. I already knew them. I knew about them previously before high school, just knowing that they've won all the time, and just the opportunity to play football here is great. And I love my decision.
So, guys, I was also told by Chris going in that Coach Miller's wife will often make snacks for the group's film session. We heard from Brendan, Tavis, and Sean that their favorites include pizza rolls, chocolate chip covered Oreos, and much more. Joey, starting with you. So I flipped this to you guys. What is your favorite snack for the film session?
See, that's actually a really hard question. Definitely the hardest today. So, recently, we had this. It was like, I think, cookie on the bottom, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then brownie on top with some sort of fudge in the middle with M&Ms mixed in, and oh my God. That might be it right there.
John, for you, any favorite snacks?
Piggyback off of Sudi, that was delicious, but it was like this crumb cake. It was, I forgot what week it was, but it was the best thing I've ever had. It had a little bit of like crumbs on top with a nice dense cake. I mean, fat boy dream right there. I love it.
Johnny, for you, any favorite snacks?
I'm gonna have to go with Sudi here on this because today we actually had someone film today. And the special prize was that whoever voted for Ohio State or Michigan got double. And being from Ohio, I voted for Ohio State, and we got the dub. So I got 2 of those today. So it was pretty good.
As I said before, the one with Brendan, Tavis, and Shaw. It's good that you guys are getting fed well before a game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, guys, let's take a look into today's quarterfinal matchup against the Muhlenberg Mules. Muhlenberg, they come off of a win against Del Valle and Randolph-Macon to get here. They come in at an 11-1 record, only loss coming from Johns Hopkins, who's still in the playoffs as well in the quarterfinal. Joey, starting with you, the center up front, what will be the keys to victory against the Mules to get back to the semis?
I think just executing our game plan. You know, I mean, we've been practicing all week trying to get their scheme down, and today we just got to execute it. You know,
John, for you,
buying into the scheme, being 100% locked in all the time, every play, every down, and just trusting our teammates, trusting the guy from the right or the left. You know,
Johnny.
The biggest thing this week for us is communication up front. They have a good scheme going on. Their defense plays different fronts, and just for us to O-line together as one unit to do well, we're gonna have to communicate up front from Sudi, the guards, and the tackles.
So, guys, looking even deeper with the Mules, they feature a D lineman that has been on a tear this season, 17.5 sacks, which is 3rd nationally ranked in Division III football. And I'm talking about number 6, Frankie Feaster. You guys have seen some really good defensive linemen throughout the course of the season, but you guys have been able to shut those guys down. Joey, starting with you, I know you hit on the schemes and talking about how to shut down a defense, but what will it take to continue this trend and just shutting down these opposing D linemen that are coming in as all-conference players?
I really think just lots of effort. You know, we have max effort and use our technique, and if we do that, then it's going to be hard to beat us.
John, for you.
It's got to be a physical game up front. I mean, we got to bring it to them. And that's what it has to be. We locked in. We have to be 100% on the same page at all times.
And Johnny,
I just feel we have to show them what it feels like to play Mount Union football. From the first drive on, we're going to set our tone, and from there, we hope we dominate the game up front.
Guys, final question for you. You guys have your annual Secret Hogs Day. John, I know that this will be your first annual as an offensive lineman here at the University of Mount Union, but we are getting close to that time, gents, and I'm going to flip the question also to you guys, being the Hogs up front. Johnny, let's start with you. What are some of the gifts that have been the most ridiculous / funny items that you have ever seen?
Well, last year, one of our teammates got a onesie, and you're just thinking, how big of a onesie should they have gotten? And this man weighs over 300 pounds, and he had to put it on the spot when he got it, and he looked very comfortable, and I was dying in laughter. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
This Fraser Daniel?
Yes,
Yeah,
Fraser Daniel.
Joey, what about you?
The Fraser thing was hilarious, but I think the funniest thing for me is someone got an empty box of KFC. You know, it's just like wasn't anything in it. It was just empty. And it's like they were expecting like at least
some chicken.
Yeah, there was some chicken, like a little gift in there, but they just gave him the box, and it was like totally empty.
So members of the offensive line, Johnny Todd, John Bisono, and Joey Presutti, they're getting set for game time in the quarterfinal, taking on the Muhlenberg Mules at Mount Union Stadium. Keep it locked in here on 91.1 WRMU. We'll have playoff action from Mount Union Stadium.